Testing, 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 output, output. Testing, 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 testing. There we go. There we go. Wow, man. Guys, I just said a lot. And yo, let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay. Wow. Wow, man. I just went through all that, guys. Man, I just had my whole introduction and y'all couldn't hear me. Man, that is crazy. So let me just go back. Let me just go back from where we were starting, right? Man, apologies, guys. Technical difficulties. That's gonna be like the end of me. Anyway, so guys, like I said, I did my little introduction where I welcome everybody. Like I said, it's 7:09 p.m. March 15th, Easter time frame. It is Wednesday, Digital Wednesdays, guys. And I started off my topic by mentioning the title. The title is Lost Yet, right? With Digital Wednesdays, it's Lost Yet. So I was just pretty much going over on a whole rant that you guys in here, pretty much going over that the conditions in the market have changed. So pretty much the information that we're creating in the market, guys, the information that the market is creating overall, it's going to be new information that the future is going to use, because the old information that we have been using as traders, that stuff is obsolete. Pretty much the guys before us, our predecessors. Now, yes, that information is still relevant, but is it concrete like it was in the 80s or like it was in the 90s? Absolutely not, guys. The conditions have changed where we now are the creators of writing the new scripts for how the market behavior is. So this is a good thing, and some people may see it as a bad thing, because with new data that's coming out, some people may see it as a challenge because they may find themselves on the wrong side of the market more often than not, guys. More often than not. So we're going to be writing a new script. We're pretty much writing a new script for what the conditions of the market are going to be for the future, guys. So like I said, this is a good thing and a bad thing to some people. Good thing because now it's showing that even the expert investor who's out there giving you all their analytical talk, right? They don't even know what's going on. And that's why I titled this with Lost Yet, because guys, if you pay attention to some of the news outlets like I do, they don't know what's going on. Now, yes, you can have all the data and everything that addresses what the market is doing on a technical bias, but behavior wise, you can't forecast like what the market may do, if it's going to drop down, if it's going to drop up. But play the technicals once the data starts pricing in. So for example, right, we had a buy up here. This was like my original buy zone this morning. Clearly the market was not ready to buy, but I think we're coming back around for our buy opportunity. Regardless of that, we had a buy zone. Market shot up. As you can see, the market, this was where the market shot up. So 7 pips, not even nothing to, I mean, depending on how you're moving, not even nothing to be proud with, right? Market dropped all the way down about 74 pips, right? Now we're making our way back up to this market, you know what I'm saying? Back up to price where we should get our actual break and retest where the market should actually decide to come back up. Now, here's the thing. Do we say, is this market selling? Do we say that this market is buying, right? And I'm talking about overall trend. Well, based off of just looking at the hour time frame, let's actually back it out to an 8 hour. It just kind of gives you a better depiction, all right? So this is where the market came from last week. Last Friday, this is where the market came from. I can even spot something that I use favorably, which is a double doji, guys. Like I've talked about them on my calls before. So double doji, the market is in a bullish trend. We did sell off from here, but did we sell off or did we just pull back? In my eyes, this is a pullback, should continue to be a pullback. Now, what will what will make the sell valid, because this is consolidation right here. This is consolidation. If we get a pullback back to this area and the market decides to drop, right? The market decides to drop, right? That will make the sell pretty much true. So I do see that we are probably pulling back up. up into this area, and then we'll decide from there. Now, here's the thing that I was going on a rant when I was on gold, where you guys probably weren't hearing me, right? Now, I wouldn't say I use them in tandem, but whatever gold is doing, the euro or the British pound will shortly follow. Not in that, don't take that context. Like if I see gold up, let me press the buy button on either of those currencies that I just mentioned. No, let them finish their market cycle. But you can see when gold starts to rise is that the British pound, the euro specifically, start to get bullish with it eventually, right? Look at this move from here in gold, right? Just look at this move here in gold, all right? Right here. Just look at this move. Doesn't this move look identical to the same move I showed you guys on GBP USD? You see what I'm saying? And you find a correlation. It's not saying that, oh man, it's bullish, so let me buy, because you see gold and gold and the British pound are not showing like the same sight picture, right? They're not. They're bullish, but one has sold and one is like up right now, right? But here's the part that I think that the markets are approaching their cycles, which I think that right now gold is just consolidating in order to let the rest of the market catch back up. Look at this move down here that the market shot down, right? I want to show you guys the move where gold shot down. Now, you can't see it because it's on a higher time frame, but if I bring it down to a 4 hour, you can see, man, doesn't that mildly look like what the euro is trying, what the British pound is trying to do? And obviously with their currencies, they're going to do it in a more aggressive manner because they have to go back to where price is looking. They have to go back to where price is looking to buy at a lower position. But this is our lower high right now. This is our lower high right now where price should decide to pull back up, at least back to this area. And from there, we make a decision. But what I'm showing you guys is the depiction that look what gold did when it made its move to the downside, and look what it did after it popped back up. And this was consolidation, right? Before the market got extremely bullish here, somebody could have said, hey, when it comes back up to this consolidation point, I'm going to sell off. Somebody probably did do that, think that, you know what I'm saying? But it was just too much money left over. If you just really look at it, the market's always going to aim for a higher level of resistance or support. So if there's no support for it to create, and it's just pulling back to areas, more likely it's going to be targeting a resistance. Where am I looking for gold to target? I'll show you guys. I'm looking for gold to target somewhere in this general region of like 1950. Now, here's the thing about gold with the possibility that everybody hasn't been paying attention. Well, maybe you have been paying attention to, right? I know some of my partners in my community have been paying attention. Look at gold right now. I want you guys to look at this. Gold has the possibility. Now, it's ranging right now. So somebody could easily say, man, what are you trying to convey? Well, let me go to a 12-month chart. For all my traders, are y'all seeing the possibility of what I'm seeing, right? Are y'all seeing the possibility of what I'm seeing? History could potentially be made right before our very eyes by what? By gold creating a potential new high for gold creating a potential new high, guys. Are y'all seeing that, man? History being made right before your eyes, right? So I'm not sure if this is going to propel gold to new standards. Obviously, we'll have to wait for the market to correct itself, but I'm not sure if this is going to propel gold. But the look is there. The only thing that we would need is a new higher high in order for the market to start retracing back to some of these levels down here. Make no mistake, if this market breaks, in my opinion, that's not a good time to start buying gold. When you start seeing coming all the way back and maybe back to now it'll probably continue like pushing high. So once we get a break here on the trading side, as far as leverage trading, obviously you would look for buys to continue up, but they'll get a point where that will be exhausted and this market will just by natural flow have to do this. This is not saying that it's selling, but let's understand whether it's the stock market, whether it's the housing market, whether it's the foreign exchange market, guys, doesn't matter. This market has to reach it. It has to pull back no matter what it's doing. Yes, the move could be continuously to go up, but it has to pull back. So when we get watch gold bounce off this line. For all my viewers out there that are in my community, watch gold back off this exact line. Y'all know I'm good for drawing these and it actually responding in that way. And I'm like, oh man, why didn't I draw a zone up there? But we'll figure it out when we get up there, guys. So I can see, I'm not foretelling the future, but it's like just in preparation, right? I know that if this market creates a high, it's not gonna just decide to continue to go up unless somebody just decides to buy a whole bunch of gold for whatever reason. But gold has been circulating, so I don't see that much volume being pumped into gold, but I do see a correction for opportunities of people to buy. Now, I don't know if this is going to bring gold, like how far gold is going to correct itself, but this is a good move because we know that once we get a new high, price is going to dive deeper. It's going to dive deeper to throw out newly investors that invested up here. That's going to drive them out and then probably decide to, which could take, again, this is a 12-month chart, guys. So all this happening could take 2, 3, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? All these movements happening. You know what I'm saying? So we could see gold. Now, this is a good depiction because we could see gold potentially be bullish depending on how fast price moves up and down. We could see gold potentially be bullish for the next year, you know what I'm saying? Potentially the next year, right? Straight bullish candle to the upside, with some fight back or probably, messing around and then actually create its candle maybe the following year and then start to sell off from there. That's just, what my sentiment. I'm not saying that will happen, but we know that when this market will create a new high, because look, for example, here, this market created a new high and it pulled back, you know what I'm saying? And then it popped up, new high created. Hasn't pulled, well, it did pull back right here. So that's its retest to continue. And then now we're going to have the actual move, like the actual collection of all these buyers in here eventually. You know what I'm saying? So I could see something like this happen towards the end of 2020. The end of 2024 or like towards the end of 2023. This market move up, that will actually kind of align with what I expect the dollar to be doing. But gold is still overall bullish. It hasn't really shown no signs of decreasing. I'm not saying gold to come all the way back to these numbers, but let's be real. Like, this is foreign exchange. So we know that price is going to do some type of correction. It's definitely going to probably want to attack this. Same thing it did on its side. You see how the market drove down, but then it actually collected this money that was left up here. So if y'all can't see that, that's money right here. Where these lines are, even if you don't know what's going on, where these lines are, right? That's money. That's money. There's money right here as well, right? Where are we at? It's money right here on these candles. So when the market decides to drive up, same thing, you see it did it on the opposite side. It ran away from that. So it's going to run away from this, most likely, collect all this money that it left up here, and then decide to come and get this money on the drop to the downside. So we know that the market is probably going to collect lower than this. So where would be an ideal area to start reinvesting in gold if you're patient enough to wait? Probably 13 to 1200 range. You know what I'm saying? 13 to the 1200 range. You'll probably look at after gold makes its newer high. If it does, you'll probably be looking at a new area, which again, that will take us years. So you're probably looking at, this happening within the next 2 years and then gold, falling off maybe for like the next 3 years until it's ready to buy again. Potentially, guys, that will actually add some boost in cryptocurrency if this was to happen. So maybe if we continue to see gold go up and create a new high, and start to fall, that'll kind of be the turning point for crypto to actually start gaining some more volume, because money has to go somewhere. And since we have digital currency, digital assets out there, that money is going to be distributed towards those, since people actually have trust in it. Don't think cryptocurrency is out of the ballpark, guys. Like, people are leaving it alone. I know that for most of you investors out there, it may seem like ugly, but just look at the state of the economy of where it's heading already, guys. We got century dogs already. More things are being powered by AI. AI is going to influence the change of currency. So don't think that crypto's out of the ballpark, but these cryptos that we've been focusing on, they may not be like the prime source. So continue to do your research for cryptocurrency and find new tokens that look what their uses is. You're only going to know the value of it. You read what its purpose is. Bitcoin has no purpose. I don't even know what Bitcoin is for, to be honest, yo. I think it was just like a test phase in order to introduce the idea of cryptocurrency to the world and stuff. And I think Bitcoin will eventually be phased out. Like, let's look at Bitcoin right now. I think that it'll eventually be phased out. But what I think will happen is that it will become an index for cryptocurrencies, such as like, the dollar. You know what I'm saying? The dollar is the index for, the dollar, but as well, I can use that against other currencies. You see what I'm saying? So Bitcoin may end up doing that, just becoming an index. And then you can view it from the big BTC USD, right? So let's just look at Bitcoin real quick, right? Bitcoin shot up, hit a level of resistance, hit what we call a ceiling, where this market can definitely decide to push down. I was talking to my partners where I do believe that we could see like, a push back down to create support, if not just come up here. But I do think that we hit a resistance, a ceiling. So I think that the market is actually pushing down. I don't think, I don't know. I really don't. I don't want to give false information because I'm just going off of how I view technical analysis, guys. But based off of what we're seeing, it still does look like a selling opportunity. We are at a high point in the market. I don't think that cryptocurrency is necessarily like dead, but I think like Bitcoin for itself is going to get back to better buying opportunities. So if you just look at like what I have displayed, I want you guys, now I'm not going to do it for you guys because I'll have to get off this window and that's just going to be too much of a headache. But anybody that has the Wall Street cheat sheet, pull that up and tell me, like, obviously you can't tell me unless you write me on YouTube, guys, but at your own time, look at it and then look at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. Look at that and then look at Bitcoin and you tell me what you see probably like next week, or if you guys are seeing something. I know that this market won't play off that information or these illustrations that we get on the regular, right? Like to the T. The illustration, you'll never get it to be on part with the illustration. So don't ever look at the illustration and say it has to look exactly like this. No, it will never look exactly like the illustration, but it'll look damn close. It'll look damn close. And if you know about the macro theory, guys, is it the macro theory? Am I thinking of that? I think I'm saying, no, I don't think it's the macro theory. What is it? I gotta look it up. I think it's no, it's not. But anyway, guys, so there's a point. Is it the market cycle? I'm thinking it's the market cycle. And they show this like within like Wall Street, where the market does something like this, guys. Follow along with me. You'll see a pattern like this and they'll start it all over. It's a story. It's the story. Man, I don't even have that information anymore. It's the story of the market. So the market tells a story. Let me find it better. And you'll see it somewhat, like this. It'll create these high. I know you guys have seen it before. Then it'll become stagnant. This is where then it'll drop again. Then it'll flatline. This is the consolidation period. And then we don't know where, like someplace in here, if it decided to drop, that would be the move. And then it would start. Well, let me do it how it looks based off the story. And then this move, like this bullish move, like if that were to happen, say like this were to happen, this bullish move will start this cycle all over again. So whenever it finds its point again, which could be that 100K mark, it'll start this very cycle all over again, all right? So it'll start however it's going to do it. Man, I don't know why I don't stick with that. So I'm just giving you guys a depiction. It's called the market story. You can find like an illustration of it, but it'll look something like this. And you'll see that it'll drive hard and then it'll pop up higher, creating this same like double double top, and then the market will pretty much repeat its cycle over and over until it reaches high points, until it wants to do. You can do this on pretty much any market and find this type of example. I'm just showing you on cryptocurrency because that's where I first got discovered this, guys. So yeah, man. Let me look at gold because, like I said, I wanted to look at an opportunity. Now, I really don't make any moves against the dollar while the DXY is closed. So let's see if the DXY is open. If it's not moving, then it's not open. Okay, so it's not moving right now. And yeah, excuse all this. I'm never going to move this off, so you're always going to see something on the dollar, if not other currencies. But let's just hone in. The dollar is not open right now, right? But let's see what the dollar did do. Now, I had zones up here for the dollar to actually come up here. I didn't expect it to be so aggressive. And basically, what they've been doing is rate hikes, right? Why have they been doing rate hikes? To stop us from being driven into a recession. And they actually have started making their descent towards their 2% target. What against on the 10-year yield bond, guys. So if you've been following the Federal Reserve's meetings, you've seen that they've been trying to aim towards 2%. Now, what I have here is that the market had actually created a higher high and drove the market down. Now, this was the previous low. Most people are susceptible to say that, well, what I learned in foreign exchange is that when it breaks a previous low, it should, and we get tricked because we're paying attention to these major lows, not realizing there are previous lows higher up, right? You have to look at candles, you have to look at the pattern, right? So this is where this market was attracted to. It was attracted to this specific low, gave off 2 rejection wicks on an 8-hour time frame. Now, the dollar isn't open, so we don't know what it's necessarily trying to do. This thing could gap up, it could gap down. More than likely, I'm thinking that it's gapping down, but let's look what the dollar did on the hour. So you see it actually reached up here. It actually reached up to this height. We don't know if it's going to establish some type of resistance, but we are in a sell zone. So it just depends on what the dollar wants to do. If it's continuing up, it is aggressively bullish. But what I think that the dollar wanted to do was go ahead and capture this gap right here. Now that I took the money that I let go for whatever reason, now I'm satisfied with making the move down. You know what I'm saying? Right here on the hour time frame, we have an evening star. So again, find the patterns, right? Find the patterns and find what makes sense to you. This is an evening star. The market has definitely retested these areas. Does it want to create resistance right here? So does this market want to necessarily break and retest? Where is that? Again, keep it simple. Do we want to break and retest? Or is the market, because we actually went back up to a previous level, is the market just going to shoot down from here? We'll have to discover that once the dollar open, which is in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, guys. So you'll have all the information that you need. So I don't really try to do pairs against the dollar, but again, I still look at information. So GU, I am looking for this thing to take flight. Oh man, I actually wanted to get in at a lower position too. I wanted to get in that position, but whatever. So as long as there's no news impacting like some of these currencies, you guys can check my FX book or whatever news outlet you use. I'm looking at pairs to get bullish against the dollar as long as the dollar continues respecting that level that we saw. Now, if we look at like indices, man, they have been tanking, but all of them look like they're trying to return back up to these levels that they fell from. So if they are still bears, all they're looking like is that, man, I'm trying to gain some, well, this is clearly support right here, but I'm trying to gain some type of a liquidity in order to move down further. I don't like none of this. I can see S&P and stuff actually popping up higher than all this stuff right here, if you guys see. Yeah, look at this morning star right here after the retest. Would love that. The only thing is that are we pulling back because we haven't hit the 50%? So you would just have to be mindful, is this momentum, or because if it's momentum, price will probably like Friday or next week try to sweep all this back down here. But if it's momentum, this thing is taking off. Like it's taking off back to these like previous areas. So just aim for the consolidation. Like it'll probably blow past this consolidation, probably blow past that, probably head towards this highest point right here. All right. This is pretty much the last area that the market was where it got stagnant and then dropped from. And then anywhere from there, you'll figure out if the market is deciding to fall from there. But to me, it looks like a lot of these zones are heading back to these areas in order to continue to sell or, get extremely bullish once they start breaking zones, man. So that's what I'm looking at. And UJ should be doing the same thing. So UJ to me is about to be on a bearish tear. I do see the possibility of it retesting a little bit higher, but again, it just depends on what the momentum is doing. The momentum looks to the downside. So yeah, I think that GU is going to continue moving down. It actually popped back up for this. There was a gap over here, but since it was filled by wicks, there was like really no structure. When you see the market come back up for like more wicks, like that's kind of like it filling. So yeah, it filled right here, but you see filled over here, and you kind of have a candle. So you kind of have the body where the market did. You see what I'm saying? So the market did fill this with the body of a candle versus these wicks, which is pretty much this money left over. So yeah, it collected that gap and then decided to move down. So a lot of these currencies to me are collecting their gaps and then moving. Like even GU had a gap that was somewhere over here that it collected. If you go to another currency chart, it'll show you that gap. And I think that pretty much has covered that gap in order to right here. This was the move right here. This funny looking candle on another broker. This is a gap. You see what I'm saying? So on another broker, this is a gap. But with it leaving all this liquidity, I can see it again, diving up a little high and then deciding to return all the way back down. But our initial position should be like this previous low of this consolidation because it can decide to fall from there. But if it breaks through, it'll probably want to create a new high and then fall like, let me see. And then fall from there. You see what I'm saying? Like that definitely makes like pure sense. You see this type of movement anyway, it's probably telling you that I want to fall from there, which will pretty much evaporate all these moves. So don't be fooled by the previous break. Like if it gives you a break to the upside, more than likely it's prepping to trap buyers in. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. And that would make sense if it collected this wick up here in order to pretty much fall down from. I do have it going to a higher position. So I think if we're going to get a sell from GU, it's going to be around the 2-4 area, the last big consolidation that price dropped from. See what I'm saying? So I think that the market is aiming for this level of consolidation. It'll probably meet its high and then descend from there. See what I'm saying, guys? So we'll see. Again, I'm aiming here and then seeing if the market decides to drive, because what it could do is pop up all the way here, give you that illusion that I want to go higher, drive down harder, then give us a better buy zone because we have all this liquidity up here. Make no mistake, it breaks out of here, it's going up here. You know what I'm saying? It breaks out of like this consolidation zone, it's probably going up here. It's going to clean up all this, and then that'll be its prime sell zone. But again, we'll wait for more information, figure out what the market is doing, and then go from there, right? So pretty self-explanatory. Just be careful in the markets, guys. That's what I'm doing. Like I said, until we get more information from the dollar, you can kind of take it with price action. Don't be fooled by these aggressive pushes. Make sure you're not trading during news, man, and just stay safe in these market, guys. This market is not designed to make us rich and any capacity at all, guys. So you just have to move with the trend. Get in, get out, find your entry, re-enter, and then, don't try to get rich overnight. So appreciate you guys as always. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So that probably shaved like 10, 15 minutes off, but I backtracked to everything that I was going to talk about today. Oh, oil real quick. Oil, man. Guys, look at oil, man. So I think oil is doing one of its move where I'm going to come back up. I don't know, but oil could potentially be doing this move where I'm gonna come back up and then sell harder instead of selling from right here. I would actually like oil to come back a little bit higher if I'm a sell, but we're getting to the point where oil could potentially be in a buyer zone, right? In a buyer zone. I actually wanted to see oil all the way back to like $17, $20, something like that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that we're going to create our support down here, maybe even blow through this, but we may see oil. I think the lowest that I had it before, well, the lowest to highest. So like $40 is where I can see oil possibly returning back to. I don't know. That would definitely do better for us on gas and stuff. And I know the world's economy has been struggling with these oil increases due to Russia and the Ukraine war. So we'll just figure it out from there. We'll just figure it out from there. But I do think, like, as an investor out there, wink, wink, when we get to some of these lower prices, oil will become, I wouldn't say affordable, but a good investment for the future. You know, anything that's a tangible resource, guys, like it's resourceful. I would definitely invest in it once it gets to positions that I would like. So if it's $40, then, you know, that's probably where I'm aiming to look at to reinvest oil. I don't think the economy will let it come down to these lows, because I was just like a market collapse right there. That made millionaires and also took a lot of people money. So yeah, I think that if we're just looking at this from a technical standpoint, so maybe not even $40, maybe push down, probably, you know, in between like $40 to $50. So I think oil will hit the gold zone and then bounce up from there, which is a 618. Not on the dot, but, you know, obviously somewhere within this $34 to $50 range. And then that'll be an area where people can start investing in companies that are using oil based off of technical analysis. Obviously, still use the fundamentals, make sure oil isn't driving all the way below zero again. Don't know how that happened. Don't know if that's even possible again, but I don't know. I don't think so. But hell, that didn't help us with gas prices. It was almost like it drove the gas prices up. But anyway, guys, appreciate your time as always. Like I said, I covered most of everything that you guys may have missed due to technical issues. We won't have that again this month. Just expect digital Wednesdays. Right now we're kind of like in some revamping phases, but because March just seems like a better opportunity to trade, we'll be more focused. But again, guys, if you're looking for a community, if you're looking for mentorship guidance, if you don't know how to trade whatsoever, whatever country you're from, contact me, guys, on my IG at the digital_goat or digital_goats. That's either on my IG, or contact me on Facebook under digital goats. That's with a Z, not an S. Everything's with a Z if it has like, so it's the digital_goat, singular, and then it's digital_goats. That's my Instagrams, guys. Goats with a Z. And then for my Facebook, it is digital goats with a Z as well, guys. We have a community. We're really looking at taking this to the next level. So feel free to reach out to me, guys. I'll give you access. I don't turn nobody down unless you're just trying to be a detriment to the community. But if you're willing to learn and willing to share your information, it's definitely open to anybody, guys. So appreciate your time as always. I will catch y'all. I probably will at least drop, you know, my recording for tomorrow to go over the market, because I know we have a lot of, like, even tonight, I know Christine Lagarde, for the European Central Bank's president, she should be talking today, dealing with some information like Jerome Powell did like last week, guys. So I'm gonna look into that this morning. It's either gonna be this morning or tonight. I don't know if they did it already or they're gonna do it tonight. I think they did it already. That's probably why the euro and stuff started selling. So that's probably where that information came from. So if I'm mistaken on the time, then obviously it's over. But still look at that information if you get the recording. Still look at what she said, if you can make sense of it and apply that stuff to the market. But as always, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow, if not next week. And don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you find value in the channel. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my content. And as always, guys, see you at the top, because we're taking everybody to the top with us in this Jordan year, and Kobe year is following. So God bless. See y'all next week.